Hello, I'm Russell Poynton from Edison Group, and today I'm delighted to be speaking to Jere Calmes, who is the CEO of The Iconic, which is Global Fashion Group's business in Australia and New Zealand. Jere, thank you for taking the time to speak to me today.
Thank you, Russell. It's a pleasure to be here.
So Jere, there's probably a very good chance that some viewers will not be familiar with The Iconic business. So why don't you begin with an introduction to the business, the market, and the competitive dynamics, please?
Certainly. It's actually a very exciting company. So The Iconic is the leading online fashion player for fashion and lifestyle here in Australia and New Zealand. This year will be about 15 years old. And the company started as a disruptor, a digitally native company that has a growing 2 million customer active base. And I think one of the most important things about our company is that our customers really love The Iconic. They love the brand. We came into the market that was dominated by literally 100-year-old department stores and brought something fresh. And we continue to do that to this day.
Jere, you've been CEO for just over 3 years now, and it's very clear that there have been lots of changes in the business over that time. So can you give some insight into the changes that you made from an operational perspective, a marketing perspective, and a product perspective, please?
Certainly. So The Iconic has been a successful, as I said, a successful disruptor into this market over 15 years. Clearly, after let's say the push of COVID, there was a bit of a wobble as customers went back to store. But the Iconic kept its strategy. In post 2022, we really started pushing our marketplace strategy. And a marketplace strategy means that we don't just sell a typical one-party retail approach to the business where you buy an item, you hold it in stock, and then sell it. But we opened up our platform to the services that we provide and giving brands access to the millions of customers that visit our site and app every day. And so what that's done is actually increase the breadth of our assortment over the last few years with very relevant brands, increasing the customers. So the customer base, which was dropping a bit, started to grow again by Q3 of 2024. That momentum's carried all the way through into 2026. And now if we take a look at our percentage of net merchandise value, it's 36% on our marketplace services and 64% on our retail. Probably one of the biggest factors to the momentum we've been building here. But in addition to that, we spent quite a bit of investment in 2023 redoing our back end to help with company efficiencies, as well as our ability to bring new services to clients in a faster way. And as I stated at the outset, The Iconic is really a love brand here in Australia and New Zealand. So we started to invest our marketing dollars very differently to focus on both our existing customers and growing our customer base with a successful new platform called Got You Looking.
In the recent results, Christoph was highlighting the changes you've made from a delivery perspective. Can you just talk about how that has made the business more attractive to the consumers, please?
Well, absolutely. So those investments into our backend stack actually opened up a lot of additional capabilities. So we've always had fast delivery in some of the capitals like Sydney, even down to 3-hour delivery. But in the last 2 years, we've been able to open up same day or twilight delivery, next day delivery, pretty much to the eastern seaboard of Australia. All of this kind of combines to grow the momentum. Customers still enjoying the CX and the service level, and it's actually created a strong financial performance as well. We've resulted in an EBITDA margin of about 7.4% over the last year.
Jere, and how quickly do those changes show up in a positive response from consumers?
Well, the customers here, they really respond to a lot of what we're doing because I think when we came into the market, e-com was brand new, and now there's quite a few players. Some of the cross-border players as well as Amazon are here. And I think the customers respond very well because we've differentiated ourselves to be an authority in fashion and lifestyle. And the service that we provide for an online retailer is as good as you would get anywhere else. In fact, it's better because playing in this segment is rather complex in the e-com world. Fashion is not it's not toothpaste or toothbrushes. It's not a rubber ducky or a bag of cement. Fashion is very self-expressionary. It's very fragmented. So the discovery of fashion is key. The CX and the UX online and the customers that come to our app, they want a very seamless, easy experience to discover something new, much like you would do on Spotify. And most importantly is the delivery has to be on time, building trust. And the returns, because you're in fashion, also have to be frictionless. And that's another area that we excel at. Most people think of returns as just a cost driver. We try to drive those costs down, but in reality, it's a market differentiator for Australia and New Zealand.
You said earlier there's been a lot of heavy lifting done from an infrastructure perspective. So what are the main investment requirements going forward?
As I've said, most of the heavy investing was done in 2023-24. In addition to that, we were able to, I think, put a strong focus on our cost structure and grow the business profitably. As I mentioned, we're already at margins of 7.4%, but I see margin expansion, growth opportunities as we continue to build our marketplace as our marketplace proportion of sales, and as well as keeping our operating leverage going. As for investments for the future, we are at a stage where we don't require any significant capex for further growth. We do look at capex mostly from an efficiency standpoint and would invest for obviously quick ROIs.
So Jerry, if you're outside the industry, it can be quite difficult to work out what distinguishes a company versus its competitors. So could you give some insight into the company's competitiveness?
Certainly. I think the good news is for The Iconic is we are somewhat of the only player in the market doing what we do. We're 100% focused on fashion and lifestyle, and that's a very large segment of the retail market. It's about 28 billion Australian here. And we do it online at scale. So we're positioned very well to be the driver for an ecosystem for fashion and lifestyle. And fashion brands like their adjacencies. They like to tell stories, and that's very important to them. So we resonate very well with our brand partners. And as we look to the future, we have two main focuses in The Iconic in terms of strategic priorities or strategic pillars. One is to continue to grow that breadth of assortment. And when you have relevant assortment, it drives more customers and it drives more frequency. And at the same time, we provide an unparalleled customer experience. We started off that way. We're known for that. We've built a lot of trust. And as the market continues to grow, we're gaining more and more of that share. So those are the two main areas that differentiate us. In the assortment side, I would also add that we have a very healthy exclusive assortment. About 20% of everything sold in terms of our net merchandise value on The Iconic is exclusive just to The Iconic or specifically a brand.com.
Jerry, when we look at the numbers and the KPIs, it's clear that the ANZ business has been the driver of the GFG results. So what do you think are the structural growth drivers going forward?
Well, there's quite a few. I'd say the biggest one is structurally in the market. Online is growing faster than offline at about a 2-to-1 ratio. So as more customers just come online here in Australia and New Zealand, we're well positioned to take that structural growth. I think obviously with the advent of AI and retailers becoming even more digital, this actually serves as a big opportunity for us to continue to make inroads into the digital space. In addition to that, we're very focused on our customer lifetime value and loyalty. So in October of 2025, we recently launched a new loyalty program, which we call the Front Row. And this instrument enables us to be much more granular in how we build and grow high value segments of our customer base. And I think that these growth drivers are going to actually enable us to continue a solid business in the coming years.
So, Jerry, you brought up AI there, and investors at the moment are trying to work out who are the potential winners and losers from the wider adoption of AI. So I'd be interested in your thoughts on the effects of AI on your business.
Great question, obviously. I mean, I think if you can decide who the winners and losers are, let me know first and foremost. But I think AI is obviously having a profound impact on every business. I think for a company like The Iconic, we're digitally native, meaning we test and learn all the time. It's very normal for us to adopt a new technology, and if it doesn't work, fail fast and get on with it. As AI proliferates, we actually see it as a great opportunity. What it's doing is basically making the shopping journeys much more digital, and that plays into our hands. Internally, we've seen the tools help us with our discovery, with our search, as search turns from kind of keywords into intent based. We actually use it to surface up more relevant, more personalized products out of our 250,000 SKUs that we have on site. So it makes our services more relevant. And I think maybe one of the bigger impacts will be the operating leverage that it provides. And that is we're able to automate a lot of internal processes and get our employees to focus on higher strategic or more value-added work.
Well, that's the tricky AI question out of the way. So what are the other risks you worry about most?
I think probably maybe one of the bigger risks is it is a competitive environment. We've seen a lot of companies over the last few years go away in this market, and I think as more and more will struggle with some of the transitions, they discount in a way that can have a margin pressure effect. And I would say also maybe just with some of the current global outlook, inflation and consumer confidence, that means we're going to be competing not just with competitors, but also with the cost of living. But I believe also that we have a very solid structural strategy to grow in this market. So we're holding to that path, and we'll continue to bring iconic products to the customers that love us.
Looking a bit more at the short term, what are the key opportunities for the coming year?
So number one is to continue to grow our platform services, bring on more brands, we have many brands on our drop ship model. That means a brand that actually is on the Iconic, but they have the inventory in their own store. They pick and they pack it once it's ordered. We're bringing many of those brands in-house, so we bring them into our fulfillment center and provide them a fulfilled by service, which is a premium service. It opens up the next day delivers, the same day deliveries. Conversion rates go up because it's much shorter. Returns become much less expensive, and that's resonating. So we'll continue to focus on building the platform. Likewise, we're implementing and investing in personalization and using some of these technologies I just mentioned in regards to AI to continue to improve the CX. And we'll continue with our delivery enhancements as we bring more and more packages to customers in shorter times.
But customers always want more or something different. So without giving away anything that's too competitively sensitive, what do you think are the key changes that are coming your way?
Well, I think the recently launched loyalty program is going to play very well. It was one of the most anticipated features that the Iconic needed to bring into this market. We have a lot of customers, as I said, that really have a high infatuation with the brand and what they do. So being able to bring a further relationship in the digital sphere with them is going to help tremendously. And for some of our VIP customers, we've already surprised them with experiences they can't buy, with visits to the Australian Open, being part of our brand partnerships with F1. So kind of bringing fashion and lifestyle to life outside of a product page on a website or on an app.
Well, Jere, that's been great. And thanks for the insight on the Iconic and the Australia and New Zealand market. The business has obviously been performing well, so please keep it going. And thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, Russell. Great talking to you.